we here again. Shout out to people coming through. Sorry for the late start. You know what it is with tech. Sometime it wanna work, sometime it don't, sometime it wanna connect, sometime it don't. But yeah, man, it's still good people, you know. And the crazy part is, you have some people that around your age that still hold on to those values from their parents. So the reason why I'm talking about this, and I really didn't want to talk about going into the specifics, but I'm gonna start with the specifics. Um, one of my boys was getting bullied by this boy that was literally twice his size. I mean, he pretty much like I would say about a little bit small. He was a little bit bigger than me. Being in the grade we was in, I was actually bigger than my son. So my sons they little puny kids. And they work and do their thing, but they just ain't got no weight on 'em, I guess it comes with the growth spurt. But anywho, um, kid was literally picking on my son, so I actually told him, I said, I told you you don't need to be fighting at school and stuff like that. And plus, the boy was like, twice his size, so he was like, he was a little intimidated by the boy. I say, so where the boy stay at? I end up going to the boy house this morning, and his mom was just coming home from work, working the night shift. So she didn't take it well. While she's trying to work and do everything right, he's out here bullying. And then she kind of know that he was doing it. So when I explained to her, she asked when was it, and you know, even with the other boy that stays down the street, both of them stay right beside. Well, like look, a couple of houses down, but both of them are like I guess the ministers, so to be. And I told them where I stayed, and they know the person that's down there by my house because he's been staying there a little bit longer than me. So it kind of gave an idea to really, yeah, dude, I'm trying to get over a car stranded, and the dude just literally. But anyway, man, going into it, like I say, it's still some good people out here. I guess that was one of them right there. But I told my son don't really handle it like that because for a situation, my older brother and a lot of my family members was trying to get on my two boys to just jump on the boy to be a 2-on-1, and I'm like, nah, because then that promotes other stuff as well. And I'm trying to teach them values growing up now so they can hold those values when they become an adult. Same as those the other kids' parents was keeping the same values and traditions in which their parents showed them and so forth. So but getting into it though, I went to the Tulip um expo down at Callaway Gardens. You see some of the pictures I dropped this morning and the thumbnail. It was nice. It was a getaway for me and my wife. We went to Callaway Gardens, stayed down there. Hotels is expensive down there, man. Like Callaway Gardens. And then I know when they have the events because they always do the light show and stuff. And so they have the trails. We went to one of the restaurants. It was fairly decent. And we went into the park, seen the tulip exhibit, just walked around. A lot of old people. It just was crazy how a lot of people, that homebody, that's what I'm used to. By being in the South, everybody talks to each other, you know, more polite. You tend to have that undertone of certain people acting a certain way, but they kind of stay at a point of at least some type of respect or boundaries. You know, it's just the plain high and by if I don't really want to deal. But, you know, that's the thing with you dealing with certain people in these areas, you have the issues, but still, it's nice to know that it's still people out here that kind of work with you, even to an extent of some information I got this weekend. pertaining into buying houses and getting into certain areas where developing. Oh yeah, I forgot I gotta call that guy. But yeah, just good information I got, and God told me anytime, just call me, man. The information is to be shared. You know, and instead of garnering the information and dying alone with it, spread it to others. Maybe they could use it. And so I like that, you know, type of way of thinking. And, I kind of promote that on my channel to get people involved in, sharing the information. I was telling my son the same thing when I was telling him to get his first property. He should get a duplex or something like that and, rent out the other side. And I'm like, got friends that can rent it. I said, even if it's not just your friends, you can, don't even have to tell them you the landlord. You just basically go through. I can come through and fix things and do things for you, or if you want to hire somebody, hire somebody. But it's more along the lines when people start knowing that you own something and they kind of less likely to show more interest in paying on time, dealing with you properly. But when it comes to people outwards, they'll deal with them. So it's kind of a 50-50 thing with most people. But be that as it may, I always say this, when it come down to it, can't go wrong with that. If you don't know I own this property, you will probably be a little more interested in working. Same advice what I was talking about the other day when I, got someone a job because I knew the people, they were a little more, you know, willing to work with me to get the situation done. But when the situation turned bad, the opposite, those people were looking at me like fix it or do. But it was a mistake made on their end, but wanted me to, suffer up. I ain't gonna go into that, but just needless to say that when it comes to people, it's still some good people out here. Not trying to get over on you, not trying to scam you. You know, And it's funny because like I always, I talk about this my rule of thumb to where if I give you $50 and you don't pay it back, I'm cool with it because that puts you in that zone or that friendship zone of, you know, every time you ask me or talk to me, I'm gonna ask for that money, so it's gonna push you further away from me. But if you really a friend and you really consider, friendship and because it's always gonna be to a point where somebody gonna need somebody to the point where you pay the money back. Like I say, anything over 100, I'm wanting my money back, and I'm going to be aggressive about getting that money back. You know, because the point of reference is I'm not a bank. I don't tend to just be giving money away for no reason, but at the same time, if I'm giving money, it's with a purpose. If you need money, I'll give it to you. Just pay it back to the extent. If you want to get over and play games, try to get over on people, you got to answer for that. Yeah, you can get over on me, you can get over on the next man, you can get over on the next man to a point where when you really do need, you got to fend for yourself. And that's what most people get put into a situation where they're doing is fending for themselves because you don't burn so many bridges. I've said that about family. You know, most people tend to burn so many bridges within the family structure. Like, who are they going to deal with when a situation really do occurs when they need actual help? You know, I talked about that one issue that I seen with this man kicked a woman out of her kids, and she was just begging for the man to let her come back in, begging for it. And I say, well, that's kind of weird to me, but logically as a man, I'm thinking if somebody kicked me out, I'm not begging to stay there. If I got a car, I'm gone. If I don't got a car, I'm sitting here and calling somebody to pick me up. I got my cell phone. I just tell them, let me get my cell phone. Get my cell phone. Calling one of my friends, calling one of my family members. Hey, I need help. Come pick me up. I just got into a fight with somebody. This and that. Or better yet, let's take it from that scenario. Let's say me and my wife get into it. and to get to a point where she kicked me out. Let's go with that. The reverse of that. What I got to beg her to stay for? I'm gone. I got family members. I got friends. Somebody can come pick me up. That's all about not burning bridges. You still have good people. I had got phone calls when I was younger. Got phone calls of friends, and people wanted me to come pick them up because of an altercation or a situation. Maybe even possibly going to jail. I was able to go pick them up, deal with them. Hey, this situation happened. Just come to my house. We'll figure it out in the morning, and just that's it. You know, if you would have called me and we have bad relationship, I'm not even answering the phone first of all. And then if I get to answer the phone and just say, man, what does this guy want? I just, might even be to the point where I say, well, I'm coming and don't come. Or I'll get to the point where I just say, I'm not coming. You know, you act like this, you do this, you do that. Call your other people, call your other friends that you deal with. And people look at that to be harsh, but you got to look at the situation that people put you in. You know, sometimes you don't want to be harsh. You don't want to, put people in a mindset of no one's going to be there for them. But still, it comes to a point. Why should I only be there for you when you're not there for me? Why should I only be a friend for you when you're not a friend for me? But like I said, seeing that there's still good people in this world that are working with each other, helping each other, striving so we all can survive, we all can maintain and have something, to develop or do for each other, that's like gold, you know. I always talk about the information and like I tell people, I'm not gonna tell you I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not gonna tell you this is not financial advice. This is basically point blank period. Information that I'm giving you to do research on. I shouldn't have to tell you that I'm a professional or not. When it comes to this platform, this is just information being passed on. You take the information and do what you want. Because if I tell you a stock tip and you go and blow all your money on this stock tip and lose your money and say, I'm giving you financial advice, I'm giving you my opinion and I'm giving you my thoughts or my fact, or to be like people say, my truth, what to be. It's up to you. I never told you to invest in this. I never told you to pull the trigger on this. And if I have told you that this is something you want to look into, this something you might want to invest into, that is up to you. You do your research. I don't understand this when it comes to social media. We have to use these type of logics and terms, even with professionals that are in these fields, with the cost of being sued for someone that makes a mistake and want to point the finger at other people. You know, that's why I say it's good that we still have people that are good. It's good that we still have people that have some type of mindset to know and believe that anything I do or anything I deal with, someone's gonna help me. Someone's gonna work me through this. You know, we're buying a house. My son wants to buy a house. My daughter wants to buy a house. I'm all for it. I'm helping you the best way I can, from a monetary way to knowledge, anything that I can that I can do comfortably. I'm helping you with. Same thing for a friend. You know, if I have a friend in a situation, I do the same thing for him or her because we're friends. When it comes down to it, I respect our friendship. You respect our friendship. These are the type of people you want to, deal with and stick around and be around. The ones that don't, you kind of tend to leave them alone. You kind of tend to not deal with them due to the premise of what? What are they doing? How are they moving? You know, you have a lot of people, that just want to be users. You know, they want to deal with you at a certain point only when they need you. Other than that, they don't want to be around you. They don't want to socialize. They just want to use you just to be using you know. And that's why I was talking about good people just giving you the information. Good people when I was at the Tulip Expo, there were a lot of elder people there. You know, they had their grandkids, their kids, walking them around, helping them out. You know, they had kids there, showing the kids the flowers. They were telling them not to touch them. And it was just the point where a lot of people were taking their kids out there taking Easter pictures. You know, there were a lot of people out there just taking pictures. For weddings, a lot of people taking photos for platforms or whatever professional type photos. A lot of people there. The flowers were amazing. I mean, like Callaway Gardens, they have different events there, and it's pretty nice. It's right dead in the middle of the country area. So, there's just a lot of people who grew up with values, and they hold those values to be true. It passes on to the next generation. For the ones that don't, they want to change the narrative and want to go at this reckless mode. Then that's the way they live. You know, like I said, I could have been in a situation where I went to that kid house this morning. It would have went completely left. You know, could have been one of those parents that say, "Hey, get out my property. I don't care about your kid." And then right when I go to the school and get the kid kicked off the bus, oh man, you didn't have to do that. There was a situation like that. I'm not gonna even go into detail, but it just says a situation when I was growing up. There was this kid that did certain things to other kids just was being bad. And the crazy part, it got to a point where this kid literally got kicked off the bus for a week, because they were trying to fight somebody. And the kid was older. The kid had got kept, I think, basically I'm just gonna, it was me and the boy. I was in, I think, fourth grade or third grade. And there was a kid that got kept back twice, tried to fight me in the fifth. And, like I said, dude got kept back. So literally twice as big as me and everything. But, to a point, I used to watch wrestling and stuff a lot. So it got to a point where I just really thought I was aggressive and I know how to handle myself. And the kid grabbed me, told me get out of his seat because he just came off of suspension. So he always sit in the back small seat that it only seats one person. So I'm sitting back there, and the kid gets on the bus, say, "Get out my seat," and I was like, "Man, I'm already here." So he's like, "Get out. There's gonna be a problem." I'm like, "Come on, man, just sit across from over there. Nobody's over there." So he got aggressive, grabbed my book bag, threw my book bag over in the other seat, then grabbed me to pull me off the seat. And when he pulled me off the seat, I shoved him into the back of the mirror that shows all the kids on the bus, and it broke the mirror. And the bus driver came back there and got both of us, and he pulled me to the side once he dropped the boy off and was like, "Man, that boy could have killed you, man. Big as he is, he done got kept back like 3 full times, because guy been driving the school bus in that area for a minute. So the guy ever since he was a little kid. When we moved in the area, he knew about us, and the boy got suspended for a week off the bus, and he got mad at me and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kick your butt when I come back, or I'm gonna just come to your house and kick your butt." Kept taunting and trying to dig at me. I didn't say nothing to him, but my grandma and all of them see me, kind of frustrated about him trying to threaten me and stuff. And she called the school and told him, like, "Hey, this boy been threatening my son after my son, him and my grandson got into an altercation on the bus, and they got to the point where, you know, they ended up kicking the boy Sorry about that. Wife calling me. So, but anyway, so the boy ended up getting kicked out of the school, and so it went from his parents being mad to taking him to school every day for about I think 2 weeks or a week to him actually getting kicked out of the school and have to be bused to an alternative school. And it just like it comes to those situations and scenarios where like a lot of kids don't even understand. You putting so much stress on your parents to try to, show out with your friends. None of your friends are going through this. And then the crazy part about it was there was another boy that always hang with this guy. And first time I told the parent what was going on, she automatically knew it was the other kid that was involved. She's like, they typically the same. They typically do the most with other kids. So no, I know these two kids. I know what they do. They do this in the neighborhood. But anyhow, like I said, it to a point where you still have good parents. You still, work and deal with these kids throughout all this bull and everything else. But then it becomes a problem to the parent. From the other side because you try to deal with your kids in a fashion to make them responsible, make them understand about consequences, and a lot of kids just don't get it till it's too late. You know, I know that kids that played around and did their things, being funny and being fun, till they end up getting jail time, going to juvie. You know, they didn't take that serious, and then they end up going to jail, and didn't take that serious and went to prison. And the first thing the parents could say, "Oh, I love you, but I tried to teach you this when you was young. You wanted to be like your friends and be in the streets." You know, you literally have good parents to try to work with these kids and help these kids to be better and do better. But then you have the kids that that are socialized to just want to hang and want to play. And like I said, just we're giving the information to make our kids better. We're giving all of among everything to try to do right for our kids. Put them in a better situation, put them in a better life, put them in a better school system, put them around, you know, a nice neighborhood, a house, even if you're in an apartment, a nice apartment, somewhere that you can afford and it's decent for your family, you know. And it always comes to those situations to where if I could do better, I would. But if I can't, I just have to deal with the circumstances that I'm in. And it's always come to a decision to where, you always have to deal with situations like this, people being unruly or to a point where people are working with each other and doing the right thing, but it's always somebody trying to hold a situation back to, you know, not wanting to give information, not wanting to be, kind of helping, you know. It don't take much to where if I see you in a situation you need some help. And I seen a family this weekend taking the pictures, asked me, hey, want me to take a picture of you guys? Nice. I could do that. But then it gets to a point to where, you know, nowadays somebody will take a picture for you and then run off with your phone. You know, that's like it'd be hard for me sometimes to let people borrow my phone while, they want to use the phone to call somebody. I'm literally having to corner them or kind of give them the phone to a point to where I'm on the aggressive end to where if you try to run or do something, I gotta clip your foot, gotta grab you, and then it's gonna make this situation even worse. You know, Jay Jordan was going on in the building. I gotta shout out Lisa J too as well, and everybody, we all family. And Jay, I gotta give you a wrench too, man. I'm actually driving now. I see, but when I get stationary, man, I'm gonna give you a wrench as well. Shout you out and share your channel. But like I said, it's to the point where we still have good people in this world. We work with each other. Even in our community, we all we got. Like I always stress this a whole lot. You know, it's a us thing. You know, if if I have a situation where me and women are having issue, that's just what it is. I have to tend to just be to myself. If I have an issue around other men, it tends to be an issue. I have to be just to myself. I'm not gonna go on the aggressive end and go at the women and go at the men because of the my feelings or my issues towards them. I just have to be to myself. I have to humble myself and being a better person by not dealing with things that I encounter that make me upset or make me into a person I don't want to be. You know, same thing applies. With giving the information. It's the reverse opposite. If I have information, I'm gonna give it out. Whether you like it or not, it's up to you to take the information. You know, anything like I always be talking about houses when I talk about life insurance. If I'm talking about life insurance, I'm on the end of giving you the information, do the research, telling you to go shop out Alonzo Hall, the All Star Advisor, looking at his channel, trying to see the things that he's telling you that's giving you free game. That the things that you can deal with. I'm gonna do a live stream on this, and I'm trying to get Alonzo on here. He always talking about COLI insurance. He talks about how giving out this good information. This is what I'm talking about. Somebody who's a licensed professional giving out this information. It's up to you to do your research. I'm looking and I'm doing the research. I'm seeing that all these banks are giving out life insurance. They getting life insurance pennies on the dollars. They going through these they going through these companies to get life insurance for their customers. And with the COLI, they getting max policies putting out there on people or to benefit them. A lot of times the situations being tax write off to where they also have a profit that gains for them too. But we never really talk about this stuff. Like I said, my channel, I got away from just talking more about the gender war and trying to deal with this person deal. I let people that want to talk about the gossip, the tea, I let them have their chance. There's nothing wrong with it. But I want to try to help people give me information. Same time I'm dealing with, people buying houses. I'm telling people to look into buying a house. The rent rate is going steady going up. I've told people several times I had an apartment and I was paying, starting off 850. When it got to 950, I told my wife, there's no way I'm paying $1,000 to stay in an apartment. Now the same apartments are $1,800. And I'm like, man, you know, talking to people, when I went to go look at, buying a house, the guy who was there, he was a renter, and he was asking me, where are you trying to move to? I told him we're moving to the outskirts of the city. He's like, okay, because I had a nice house in Stone Mountain. He was offering that, and he was telling me, well, if you don't stay there, you don't want to look at somewhere where you're going to the outskirts of the city. I'm gonna tell you this. He said, buying is better than renting, because the rate of rent, I have my people paying for, the house. I mean, it is what it is. If you have a good landlord that can work with you through the tough times, that's gold. Last Journey had a guy on her panel where he was saying that he don't do any hikes on his rent. This guy could be going massive. Like, let's say he's charging in LA $2,000 a month. The rate now he could be charging five. But if he's only going up 25 and going up to 3,000, he's still doing right by these people. If the rent rates are $5,000 and he only charging 2,500 or 3,000, I mean, you working with people like that. That's why I say it's still good people. I've seen different situations on YouTube and on TV to where people lost their job, they can't move around, they can't do this, can't do that. You got these people literally say, okay, I just need you to move out my house, don't tear nothing up, and I go ahead and pay for your stuff to go in the storage. I go ahead and give you $2,000 to help you find a spot. There was this one landlord, the lady ain't paid in 8 months. She always paid on time, always consistent, lost her job, situations happened to the point where she was like, man, I'm I just can't pay. You know, I still got life around me I gotta deal with. I gotta deal with buying my food, paying my utilities. He said, okay, this is what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna give you $2,000, to kind of help you out, and I'm gonna put your stuff in storage. But if you can find somewhere, I pay a truck to instead of moving it into storage, I pay the truck to move it to your new location. You know, but 9 times out of 10, he knew with her, she didn't have no money. She said, well, I just take the money. She even offered to only take $1,000 because she said she feel bad taking money from him and she owed him. She kept saying, well, I'm gonna try to pay you back. 'Cause he knew to a point that he probably would never see that money again. It was just the point of, actually helping this lady out and getting her out of his house. He to the point where he probably knew that the lady wasn't gonna damage the property. It was just her. No kids, no nothing. Just her. She just couldn't. She got to a point where her job was laying off. They cut her hours drastically, and it got to a point where when she got cut off, I mean, when they fired her or let her go, it just she couldn't pay it off, barely staying afloat. And you have people like that that'll work with you and bless you like that. You know, there's this guy on YouTube named Great, and he goes around giving people blessings, tips. You know, he asks you, "What do you want?" He'll give you a tip, whatever you want. Some people say $200. He be like, "Well, how about 500?" Some people say 1,000. You just shoot them 1,000. You know, it's to a point to where you still have some good people that work with you. I always watch this guy. He gives out money, on YouTube. There's another guy, Jimmy, that he does that with YouTube, and Cash App sponsors him to where he has a Cash App card, and he takes that Cash App card, buy stuff at Walmart for people. There's the guy CJ out near Canada that goes and buy groceries, give people money. You know, a lot of these channels like that, even Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast does that as well. Mr. Beast takes the channel to that extreme where he goes and give money. One of his first big videos Mr. Beast did was the company wanted to give him $5,000 to shoot a video promo. He told the company, only way I do it if you make it 10. You give me $10,000 to shoot the video because I'm gonna take $5,000 and give it to a homeless person, and I'm gonna take 5,000 for myself. Even his mother to the point was like, "You got to give him all that money. You got to give him 5,000." And he was like, "Yes, yes." So you still have good people in this world that look out for people, that want to help people, do stuff for people. It tends to be a problem when you have people that only looking out for self. That only want to deal with themselves. That only want to provide for their self, none for others. Even with the point of, you know, here on YouTube. And I gotta hurry up and jump off of here because Wanda Budget and Beyond is on, so I want to go ahead and get over there to her channel. And she has some good budgeting tips and talking. But it gets to a point to where you working with people, trying to work with them, but they don't want to work with you. You know, you tend to see certain people aren't good people. Over time you see that dealing with them or just off the bat. But you tend to try to work with them because hey, you know, everybody needs somebody to work with that's cool, that respectable, that kind of to a certain degree. And when it comes down to it, I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I always try to work with people where they are. I tend to try to, you know, give people the benefit of a doubt when, you say something that don't sound right. You do some things and I question, because maybe you had a bad day. Maybe you just need to change and no one's there to help you or give you no guidance. But it just, to a degree, some people, you can't help them all. Some people just have to cut your ties with in order to make things work and to be successful. You got to cut your ties with some people. And in some cases, that's what you have to literally do with people is literally cut your ties sometimes because it is more of a harm, to hang on to people that don't want to change. Like, I've always said this and I stand by this. There are people that don't want to change, just want to remain the same. And growth is a part of life. We have to grow as people with the knowledge, information that we getting every day. You shouldn't be stuck as the same person as you were in your 20s. You should have evolved. You should have got more knowledge. You should have been more, compassion. All these things are going to take flight in your head if you're a person that's growing in life. You shouldn't remain the same. And I always talk about the hustle. Having a hustle mentality of making money, doing what's right, working towards a better life, a better goal, you know, increasing back with the knowledge, that increases back with growing, you know. Shout out to Gold Professor, with the 9 laws. Law number 8, you know, I'm sorry. That's law number 9. Plant these seeds and be patient, you know. When it comes to it, build something is the other one. Law number 8. But law number 9, plant these seeds and be patient. When it comes down to, the people planting the seed and being patient and going back to the hustle and the grind, I'm talking about the good version of a hustle. I'm not talking about the bad version of that hustle to where you're only having that hustle to do what? Get over on people, scam them. I don't like that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want that type of energy. I don't want that in my circle because my thing is this: that bad energy, that's what hurt people. That bad energy, that's what put you in a worse situation. And a lot of people fail to realize when you going into situations with vibes and stuff like that, the energy around you, you get sucked into it. That's why I was talking about you know earlier, and I'm gonna end with this about the lady being kicked out with that guy on that YouTube video. Whether it was a skit or not, to the point that I'm saying I shouldn't have to worry about somebody getting over doing something to me because I got family and friends around me. Like I said, when that lady got kicked out with her kid, she should have been grabbing her phone, calling her people. Why is she begging the man to let her come back in? And you can naturally see that the man don't want her there no more. He's kicking her out. Whether he's kicking her out for the right reason or for the wrong reason, he kicked her out. So with that being said, she should have took the initiative to call her family members and go ahead and move on. I'm not gonna be somewhere where I'm not wanted, you know. And most people have to take, heed and note of that to hey, move around, you know. We all have situations that we go through and if we don't benefit from them because why? We never learn, you know. If it's a situation with me and my family coming to another family and we're working together, it's good. If we're not working together, for what reason? It all depends on each other. You know, I'm not gonna sit here hold nobody back. I'm not gonna sit up here and force nobody to do what I want them to do. It's a common ground. You know, I'm working with you, you working with me. We're building each other. You know, a lot of us got to learn how to have that relation to where you still be humble, still hungry, like you want something in life. And with that being said, like I said, do your research, figure out this information. Buying a house right now is key, even to the point of you buying land right now is key. Getting that life insurance. I literally just seen a video this weekend where they were just telling people, if anything, getting life insurance as young as you can. I got my kids they life insurance policy. They got a universal to where when they get older, they can cross that policy over to their kids, you know, before they pass. Or they can get on that policy, pull money out to benefit their life right now. I told people that's the biggest thing I'm banking on is shout out to Gold P is when I get older, my life insurance is gonna take care of me. I'm not worrying about Social Security because for all we know, Social Security might not be around for my generation. The way that they spending money, the way the deficit is, the way things are going right now, you know, it's crazy. So right now having situations, you know, getting this knowledge, that's the key. And I'm trying to tell people, get this life insurance, get something that's gonna protect you. This life insurance if you get a universal life, you put it in the S&P 500, you're gonna gain money every year. I guarantee on this policy. You're not losing money. It's better than putting your money in the stock market. The stock goes up and down. It's controlled. If you don't think it's controlled, look at certain stocks. Even with the safest stocks to invest in are ETFs. That's the safest to invest in. I would invest in the ETF than a regular stock in general in and every day. An ETF has a point to where you set a tone of a profit. A lot of people lose out for what? Lack of knowledge. That's what goes within our community, a lack of knowledge. And like I said, I try to stay off of this gender war stuff, and I stay off this whole color thing too as well because like I said about that comedian, I'm really gonna get off this time. You know, the biggest thing that comedian said when he was arguing and talking with somebody, he said a guy told him about slavery. One of his friends that was out there, and they was talking about slavery, how white people did black people, and he said, "Man, do you honestly think that with me being where I'm at with you, my people or my family would do all this bad stuff to you, and then we end up in the same place?" There are some good people and there are some bad people. True, you know. But point of reference is this. When it come down to it, it's about the haves and the have nots. You had some people that were rich that, shamed and looked down on the poor, and the ones that were poor, you didn't have no choice but to work together or you gonna starve or die. So with that being said, shout out to everybody that came through. You know what I always say, we here and we gone.